Well, greetings, Christ Fellowship. We've been going through Philippians, and Paul has been telling us about his loss of freedom, his loss of health, and he may very well lose his life. And it's not just him, some of his friends as well. And he writes this letter to the church of Philippi, and he says, I want you to know that what has happened has really served to advance the gospel, and he has joy in the process. And it's not that everybody's made up of the same hobbies and of the same traditions. No, they come from different backgrounds. There was a slave girl, and there was a blue-collar security officer, and there was an entrepreneur, and they come together, and in the midst of their differences, they worship. And it's their mutual affection, it's their love for one another that is shining like what Paul calls like stars in the night sky against the backdrop of what Paul calls a crooked and twisted generation. You are like the Milky Way, showing people what north, south, and east, west, and how to live. The hope of the glory of Christ in you is manifested through your submission, through your love for one another. Good night. Think about the political climate we're in. People want to divide. They find differences and they find disputes. And this is what he says in verses 12 and 13 of chapter 2. They grumble, they dispute. So they go off to individualism, they separate. But the church, you know, like all these trees here, you got poplars and pines and oak trees and hickories, and they all come together in their differences and they make a forest that, gosh, got a hurricane coming, it's going to shield us from the rain and the weather. Hardship comes, and what do? Do we divide? Do we go our separate ways? No. Instead, we love one another as Christ has loved us. And this is what he says. Verse 4, look not to your own self, but look to the interest of others. And that action of love is what you are inviting people to. You're inviting them into not a club, not a organization of hobbies, but a family of faith. This is what we are offering to the world. This is what I want to invite people to. Christ Fellowship, one of my greatest joys is to invite people to come and experience the love that we share with one another, so that they may know of our hope and the love that God has for us. Christ Fellowship, you are loved, and I look forward to seeing you this Sunday as we continue our study in Philippians.